Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a single term, Bergman's disease, and it's a bit of a maze.
It really is. It sends clinicians down three completely different paths.
Right. You've got gastroenterology, neurology, and even surgery, all tied to one name.
Right.
So our mission for you today is pretty simple, just clarity. What does Bergman actually represent?
So if you're looking at a medical chart, the main thing you need to lock onto is von Bergman syndrome.
Okay.
This is where you have a sliding hiatal hernia that causes symptoms so precise they can dangerously mimic a heart attack.
And that's the key, isn't it? That functional idea from Gustav von Bergman. He wasn't just looking at anatomy.
No, he was asking how. How could this misplaced bit of stomach functionally create what feels like real cardiac pain?
So von Bergman's syndrome is that whole symptom complex.
Exactly, the whole package. And the mechanism is, it's fascinating. It's primarily driven by vagal mediation.
The vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve. So the physical distension of that herniated stomach pouch, say after a big meal.
Or even just gas.
Right. It basically triggers a false alarm in the nervous system.
And that alarm causes referred pain right to the chest, the jaw, the left arm. It matches the classic angina pattern perfectly.
Which is what makes it so challenging.
Yeah.
Differentiating it from, actual coronary ischemia.
So for you, the history is everything.
It is. The pain in von Bergman's is often triggered by things like a big meal or lying down or bending over.
Shoe tying sign.
That's the one. A classic finding.
And the relief is maybe the biggest clue here.
It's the critical separator. Nitrates, which you'd use for angina, might help a little by relaxing the esophagus.
Which just adds to the confusion.
It can. But the real tell is the immediate, though temporary, relief you can get from antacids.
If the chest pain goes away after a Tums, you're probably looking at the stomach, not the heart.
That's a very strong clue.
So we've established the symptom mimicry, but let's dig into the root cause. Why does the diaphragm fail like that? Does the hernia point to a bigger issue?
It absolutely does. And this is where we need to shift our thinking from a single diagnosis to a systemic pattern.
Okay.
It's known as Saint's triad. Von Bergman syndrome rarely travels alone.
Saint's triad. And that is?
It's the simultaneous occurrence of three things. The hiatal hernia,
Got it.
plus cholelithiasis, gallstones, and colonic diverticulosis.
3 separate organ systems, all showing weakness.
Exactly. And the leading theory for why is a condition called herniosis.
Herniosis, so like a body-wide flaw.
A generalized deficiency, yeah. In the connective tissue matrix. The collagen and elastin that holds everything together is just not as strong as it should be.
Which explains why the diaphragm fails, the colon wall fails, and maybe even contributes to the gallbladder problem.
That's the thinking. So the clinical takeaway for you is crucial. If you see one part of the triad, you have to look for the others.
A wholesome patient examination.
You got it. You can't just blame all the upper abdominal pain on the hernia. You could easily miss an acute cholecystitis.
Okay, so let's clean up some other confusion around the Bergman name real quick.
Yes. First, there's a totally separate Bergman's triad in neurology.
Right, for brain abscesses, fever, high intracranial pressure, focal signs.
But the sources are clear. The full triad has very low sensitivity. You really shouldn't rely on it for diagnosis.
Good to know. And the other big one?
You have to rigorously distinguish Bergman's from Berger's disease.
Berger's, that's the vaso-occlusive disease, right, in the limbs.
Yes, it's linked solely to tobacco use and can cause gangrene. Totally different body system, totally different risk factors.
So to synthesize all this, Bergman's disease is really an umbrella term. It covers everything from a dangerous heart attack mimic to this potential systemic defect in your connective tissue herniosis.
And that brings us to the final provocative thought we pulled from the sources.
Let's hear it.
The literature points out that Saint's triad is reported extensively in Western countries. It's very common.
But it's strikingly rare in Japan.
Almost unheard of. So the question we leave you with is this.
What does that geographic variation tell us about the interplay between diet, environment, and our underlying genetic predisposition to connective tissue health?
That's a deep dive that keeps going.
Go forth and connect those dots.